I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and Sangha. By my accumulations of benefit all sentient beings. Sanje joda zoge jonam no janjo bando dane yapsu che dage jinso kebe lola benje sanje dubare sho sanje joda zoge jonam no janjo bando dane dage jinso kebe sonam ge lola benje sanje dubare sho Sanje joda zoge jonam no janjo bando dani kyapsu che dage chinso kebe sonam lola benjire sanje ruvara isho. Independent origination, there is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no separateness, no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme of all teachers, the one who taught this peace which is freed of aberrations. I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the Bodhisattvas and the Buddhas, who through the knowledge of all these hearers seeking pacification, complete peace, who through the knowledge of paths, causes, helping progress, achieve the aims of the world, and who through the possession of omniscience helps us to expand the varieties of teachings. The one who has transformed into the reliable guide and motivated participants to benefit sentient beings, the teachers who guard and protect to your ministrations. The one who has eliminated by conceptualizations, and the sound without vast and the profound, who eternally shines forth the forever noble life rays, to you the Buddha make prostrations. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate a mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhavam Etum desham dathagato yavatat esham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaya svaha. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhavam Etum desham dathagato yavatat desham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaya svaha. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhavam Etum desham dathagato yavatat desham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashramanaya svaha. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation causes as well as taught by the great seer. Profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear light and non-composite. Such natural light Dharma I've discovered. Finding no one who can fathom this teaching, in silence I'll return to the woods. Beyond utterance, thought and expression is the professional wisdom, which is unborn, unseasoned, has a nature space. Is altered apprehension, self-realized wisdom. To you, the mother of the Buddhas, of 3 times our baby sins. All composite things are impermanent. All contaminated things are suffering. All phenomena are the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Transcending sorrow is peace. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dharma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha. The Guru is also everything wholesome. I go for refuge in the Guru. By the sound of the vibrant drum of the Dharma, you liberate all beings from miseries. I beseech you to kindly remain and give teachings until the end of the expansive billions of aeons. The Buddha does not watch the negativities of beings, nor does he remove their miseries by his hands. His spiritual realizations are not transferred in them. It is by teaching the truth of the suchness that the beings are liberated. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine light of Dharma for all the hidden miseries glow. If you're attached to this life, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If you're attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If you're attached to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there is grasping, you do not have the view. Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswatyata. Okay. Whatever we do, of course there should be a purpose. And from what we learned yesterday, we see that the purpose in our life, be it directly or indirectly, at least we intend to get closer towards what is known as fearlessness, to get away from miseries. And number two, to have greater happiness, and if possible, expansive happiness. This is what we are trying. And how many agree with me now? Resents. How many agree with this? Okay, good. And at times we may feel a little lost. What am I doing? Say your career, your job. What I'm doing is not really my passion. Passion means passion towards. So whatever you are trying, the passion. Where there's a passion there, it is either towards meant to be towards fearlessness, to get away from miseries, minimize the miseries, and to expand your happiness. This is what it should be like. But sometimes we are forced to do things which are not your passion. For example, you work, say, just to live, just to earn a living. You have to do things like corporate work you may not be too keen on, but where you get good amount of money and you have the skills, but you're not keen on this. I remember some people who have law by their profession as a lawyer, but they're not eager to practice law. And then they're forced to do this because this is their skill and this is how they earn their money to live in this world. So that way we see that there are things which you're doing, which may not be the passion. And so finally, see that whatever we do, and times sometimes how many felt it that way? What I'm doing is just not really out of my passion. Resents sometimes. Okay, when that happens, let's say that the 7-day program here. From this, just see if there's a way by which we can learn how to how to transform all what you see, what you hear, what you experience into Dharma. Dharma meaning something which takes you towards what you want, towards fearlessness and towards happiness. This is what a great teacher, Milarepa, he said, for me, whatever I see is the scriptures. whatever I hear is the mantras. Whatever comes to my mind, this is the Dharma. Meaning that, so whatever I see, scriptures we see is so precious. From this we learn many things. From all what I'm seeing, good things, bad things, beautiful weather, bad weather, pollution, clean air, so whatever. So from there, there are always lessons to take, that we can learn from. There are things that we can learn from these. So whatever I see, I see them as scriptures. This is metaphorically what he's saying. He's saying that I'm learning from everything that I'm seeing. Whatever I hear is the mantra to bless my mind. Whatever I hear, bad things, good things, very pleasant is healing. Bad things, from this I have to learn that I should not be saying these bad things towards other people. And so that way I grow myself. I grow in your fearlessness, and I grow in the happiness. Okay, so if you look at if that happens, that'd be wonderful. And for this matter, we also need good role models. So what role models do we have? If you look at the history of humanity, 2,500 years ago, there was a prince by the name Prince Siddhartha. And in the life story of the Buddha, you see that sometimes it was very naively depicted, where the Buddha Shakyamuni was a very naive young boy. No, it was not like that. So look at the praise which we said in the morning, praise to Buddha Shakyamuni. So from there we see that he was born as an exceptionally intelligent young boy, very exceptionally talented young boy, very intelligent boy, plus extremely compassionate the person. So this was the biography, and then looking at the biography by the great Indian master Acharya Dharmakirti in 7th century AD. 7th century AD, Acharya Dharmakirti, when he saw, for us the biography means the thick books, fat books, biography of a teacher. But for the great masters, even 2 lines is good enough as a biography. So for Acharya Dharmakirti, a great logician who wrote Pramanavartika, and in fact I would say that on this planet Earth, pertaining to establishing establishing the phenomena of rebirth, reincarnation, the one that he wrote, perhaps that is the best, the write-up on the rebirth. That's the best one. But of course it requires a lot of, the intellectual skills, intelligence, and experience all combined together. You can see that this is an exceptionally a gift for the humanity by this great master, Acharya Dharmakirti. So what happened was that it was in 7th century AD. He came across just 2 lines, which we just read. The one who has transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings, the teacher, Sugata, protector, to your prostrations, is on page 5. Page 5 of the book which you read just now. The one who has transformed. Okay, now do you see that? Okay, let us read this together. The one who has transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings, the teacher, Sugata, and protector, to you are my prostrations. Just the 2 lines. In Tibetan, it is Tsemar Gyurba Tola Penshepa Tumba Deshe Gyubla Cha Tse Ne. And then the 2 additional lines, Dogging into Tola Zebe Tsemar Gyurba Tsushin Shibar Cha. This is the Tibetan form. Tsemar Gyurba Tola Penshepa Tumba Deshe Gyubla Cha Tse Ne. The 2 lines there. And Acharya Dharmakirti, reading these 2 lines, could see the whole biography of the Buddha. For us, the biography of the Buddha means biography of the Buddha or biography of any person. It's like what kind of happiness, what kind of enjoyments a person had, and so forth. No, for the greatly learned people, for them the biography means something very different. It's not about, they say, what kind of picnics that the Prince Siddhartha had when he was a young boy. No, this is not the biography that to the minds of the intelligent people, learned people, evolved people, for them this is not a biography. Biography is something, the development of the person's mind, how the person grows, and how this young prince developed from the ordinary prince to become the savior of the world, how he became that. So it says, the one who has transformed into the reliable guide. As a young boy, as a young boy, from there, how the boy gradually transformed to become the light of the world, the reliable guide to lead all the beings from suffering to the happiness, from darkness of ignorance to the wisdom. So, and then that's amazing. So now I found a role model there, somebody who has transformed into a reliable guide. And I also would like to, as the Lakshmi yesterday said, that I also like to benefit all the beings. As for some of us, no, it did not really hit my mind to benefit all the beings, but I like to be peaceful, I like to be happy, or I like to be a nice person, or like I want to be detached from anything else. So whatever you are looking for, then finally we come to realize is that the two things, that I'm seeking for myself and that I'm seeking for others. These two things, on a very high level, we see that these two are synonymous. On the low level, say, when you are at the base of the pyramid, you see that there are just the four different directions there, very separated by distance, huge distance. But as you climb up, at the final tip point, the all four merges. So likewise, where even if you sounded so selfish, that I want to lead a happy life, I want to have a peace of mind for myself and so forth, you start from this point, where somebody starts from, I want to benefit others. So then, the superficial, we see that these two are very different. And when you go higher, the steps to a higher level, you realize that the wisest thing to be selfish and the wisest to be other cherishing, these two are synonymous. So what is the wisest to be selfish? Is to give yourself the maximum happiness. You agree with me or not? What is the wisest selfishness? Is somebody who can give yourself the maximum happiness. Yes? You agree? Okay. So selfish means that I should have everything. I should have this is selfishness. And what's the height of this selfishness? That I should have the maximum happiness. You agree with me? So to have the maximum happiness, this is what the Buddha indicated, the great masters. They oftentimes refer to the Buddha as the Buddha uses the spear of ego to kill ego. Let me say it again. The Buddha uses the spear of ego to kill ego. So Buddha asks us, what do you want? Oftentimes, some of my friends, when I meet them, and then they bring their own friends, and they would say that they would introduce me to them, their own friends, saying that Geshe, he's the director of Tibet House, he has programmed Nanda Master's course, Nanda Dharma course, you must go there to Tibet House to attend classes. I said, don't make it so boring, right? Please come to Tibet House not for classes, for a cup of tea. So therefore it is not that, that everybody should be the classes, everybody should be say the Nanda Master's course, Nanda Dharma course. This is not the point. The point is that first we have to ask, what do you want? What do you want? So if the person says that, they say, I want happiness. So I'm tired of this life, so problematic. Some people, they wouldn't say that, I'm tired of my family. Right? I'm tired of my family members. Okay. So they want total freedom, some kind of nirvana from the family. This is what people are seeking, some people. So the point is that what are you seeking? So they will start saying that I want happiness. And from there, if you want the real happiness, what real happiness do you want? 10%, 50% or 100%? What's the answer? If possible, 100%. If possible, 100%. Is it doable? Answer is yes, it's doable. So if you want 100% happiness, okay, just let us think of that. Just think of one moment in your life when you feel the happiest, like a genuine divine experience. I don't know about the divineness, God, goddesses, but really extremely peaceful and so happy and very calm. Tranquil and peaceful. Anyone who likes to share your experience? Well, how many of you had that experience before? At least once. Raise hands. Okay. Is there anybody who likes to share your moments? Anyone? Raise hands? Yes.
At one point, my father was prognosed by doctors to die, but then he survived. So the moment that he survived was the moment I felt peaceful and happy.
Why?
That's a good question. I felt that I had a chance to spend more time with my father, who I love.
Wonderful. Thank you. Good. Anyone else? Yes.
The moment I realized that I would never be at peace until I get rid of hostility towards anyone, even if I never see them again. But that, let alone then, I want to be at peace. So I discovered metta meditation, and I did that.
So as long as I don't get rid of my, hostility towards others, I will never have peace of mind. That's a great discovery. And then you found the metta practice. Thank you. Anyone else? Yes.
I used to live with a very old person. She was my teacher. And there were times when, she really took care of me a lot. So at that time I was feeling very grateful that
Wonderful.
I found somebody to take care
Okay.
to give me love.
Say a teacher who wholeheartedly took care of you and you felt that there's somebody in this world to take care of me. Beautiful. Anyone else? Yes.
Every time when I see my mother, and then when she's happy and she do some silly things, and she says some silly words, that makes me very happy.
Okay. Not the wise words.
Silly, as that sometimes she would give me some response that I was impressed, that makes me very happy.
Wonderful. So when you see your mother saying something which may seem so silly, but then that really makes you so happy.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Yes.
When I was in Australia, we had a Sorry Day ceremony for the Indigenous people, and we were all together wishing for the same thing. And I find when I'm in big groups of people who put effort and want to practice the same thing, it makes me feel very uplifted.
To see that the Sorry Day for the indigenous people, and that too not just on individual level, on a large scale, when that is happening, wow, this is hope for the humanity. It's so beautiful. Yeah, the mistakes done by the past generation, and now the next generation, they become more matured to see that this is wrong. So we're sorry. So this is where the spirit of brotherhood, sisterhood, the dialogue, the embracing happens. It's so beautiful. Thank you. Yes.
Long time ago, in 2007, in Rome, His Holiness the Dalai Lama was there, and he was very happy. He was very happy and proud for a question that I put, and then next day it was in the newspaper, because for 5 days Tibetan issue was not spoken about because of Chinese and
The pressure.
So, and I didn't know at all, and His Holiness was very, very happy. It came in the headlines the next day, and then he said that I should continue whatever I'm doing, and that whoever is in the hole should support my path.
Oh.
And there were many Geshis and Geshe-las and villages and also Tibetan community in Italy. And I was in a total, it was like an illusion for me. In a shock, I didn't understand what was happening. He just asked me to stand up and say what I want to do in life. That's my plan. And then after, when some Geshe-la cried in front of me, and they said that whatever you made our Guru happy. And that moment I was very moved. And I didn't realize what was happening.
Yeah, wonderful. That's amazing. Yes, in fact, one person can make a huge difference in the lives of other people. So precious.
Root Guru happy.
Yes, of course, making the Root Guru happy.
Without knowing.
Of course, this is so precious. Yeah. Okay, good. So today the discussion is slightly different from what I experience in many other places. So today we see that people, I don't know, this is the word, change in the generation. The change in thing also happens. Earlier, my generation, and a little younger than my generation, those in 40s, their response normally, in many places where I went, they would always talk about the happiest moment is with their own child. Hardly we're talking about their mother, talking about their father, talking about the humanity, like what Anna said, and talking about what Digila said about, say just one man, one person, and these unintentionally, without any conscious effort, making the light of the sun of the world, His Holiness, the Dalai Lama, really the sun, make happy. And then everybody who really looks up to His Holiness, they are so moved to see that this young lady, what she did, coming on the headlines. Yeah, that's amazing. Somebody who so courageously spoke about a phenomenon which many people, they're scared to touch because of the pressure from, the big boss. Yeah. Okay. So this is quite changed. I'm very happy. So oftentimes this is what I expect something, and what is coming from the audience is very different. So in fact, one time, say in a beautiful setting, I asked the same question, and there were only about like 20 or 25 people. And of these I give chance to 8 of them to speak what they feel of the most beautiful moment. And most of them, they related they say, cutting my child. It's all about one's own child. Never thought about one's, the parents, and one's the teachers and so forth. And of course, everyone, let's not forget this, everyone is dependent originated. Even your thinking is dependent originated. But one man said something which is extremely very touching. And I'd like to share this with you here. He said that the most beautiful moment in his life was he holding the hand of 1-day-old daughter of his. Let me say it again. That when he touched the hand of the 1-day-old daughter of his own daughter, 1 day old, when he touched it, he just when he was sharing this, he was almost on the verge to crying, with tears in his eyes, feeling so much a beautiful moment of this affection to one's own child. And who is that lucky girl, or who is that lucky boy? Anyone? Meaning this 1 day old child. Who is that? Huh? Any guess? Yes, Manjari has said, all of us. Let's not forget it. Right? All of us, except for maybe one out of 100,000 people, except for that, where the parents themselves went through difficult times. Otherwise, in the eyes of the parents, when you're born, you are so special in his eyes, in her eyes. And who's that? You. Let's not forget that. And today, if there is somebody, when you're already aged like 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, suddenly you meet with somebody and who genuinely takes care of you, gives you this same love and pride, take pride in you, would you be happy or not? You'll be extremely happy, as the way the Lakshmi explained, that the teacher who gives so much love and affection. So she felt that now this teacher, or this lady teacher, that is the who made me so happy. So this is so precious. And today, if we suddenly find somebody, we see that life is so challenging. You go out and you have to compete to survive. Survival of the fittest. So this is what is happening there. And suddenly you come across somebody who is extremely, genuinely compassionate, loving and caring for you. You'll for sure see that this is like a divine, like a Buddha or the Bodhisattvas. So who is that on this earth? Your parents. Let's not forget that. They when you're born. Although we had no idea. When my father was explaining, they explained about me when I was just like 1 year old and terribly sick all the time. And then and my father used to be, this was what my father was telling me, that my mother, who passed away when I was just 5 years old, and she would always fight with my father, saying that you are killing my son, and she was holding me so tightly every day. This was what my father used to explain to me, that your mother really loved you so much. And although I have no memory of what that is like, but listen from him, I could imagine what that is like, the feeling that she felt towards me as a young child. So let's not forget these moments. So from this, what we see is that the most beautiful moment is when you feel this love and affection. This is a magic. And even if you have everything best in the world, if this, the feeling of the connection, feeling of the love and affection, when that is missing, the world is hollow. Let's not forget it. And even the BMW cars, all these things, they are just like metals, that's it. Whereas, if there is this love and affection, even a dry bread is like the divine delicacy for you. This is what makes the whole difference, love and affection. It's so precious. So what I'm saying is that, say, at an advanced level, you realize that what gives you the maximum happiness is when you give love and affection towards others. When you feel the love and affection from others, that is the time you feel the maximum happiness. So the one to be wisely selfish is to feel this love and affection, to get the maximum love and affection, to get the maximum happiness. And when you get the maximum happiness, when you are able to feel this maximum compassion towards others. So on a very high level, we see that the caring for others in the maximum way and caring for yourself in the maximum way, these two are synonymous. So when you reach that level, then they say sometimes when we take care of somebody else as a nurse or as a doctor, when you take care of somebody else, then you end up burnout, right? So when you reach that level where you see that taking care of others is the best way to take care of yourself is to take care of others. When you realize this, at that level, the burnout never happens. No matter how many hours you work, you will never feel the burnout. You getting it? This is extremely beautiful. You will look at His Holiness Dalai Lama. He never feels tired, believe it or not. Particularly when he was in his 50s, 60s, 70s. You will never feel him. You'll be just wondering. You will wonder how come that he has so much energy. Where is he getting all this energy? It's all out of seeing that what I'm doing for myself, what I'm doing for others, these two are synonymous. Okay, how many of you are tired of feeding? How many of you, if you are to feed somebody with breakfast every day, how many of you would feel tired one day? Raise hands. And how many of you are tired thus far of feeding yourself with breakfast? Are you sure? Are you looking forward to a delicious breakfast? when the breakfast is not so delicious, then you may feel tired. Oh, I'm tired of this.
But I have to prepare it, right? And I have to buy it.
No, if
That makes me tired.
no, that's fine. You're going to buy it, but if somebody gives you,
Oh, okay, that's good.
wow, okay, this is what I'm saying. You're getting it. So you will never feel tired of feeding yourself the last 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, 60 years. You're never tired because of your love for yourself. When you love somebody, you will never feel burnout. This is the secret of happiness. Okay, so looking at the biography of this great, the enlightened, the young prince, Prince Siddhartha. Look at this is so inspiring. So just these two lines, the one who has transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit all sentient beings, the teacher, Sugata, the protector, to you I make prostrations. So, Acharya Dharmakirti, reading these two lines, he was so fascinated. Look, how many of you read this so many times, and how many of you are so fascinated by these two lines? Right? Really thrilled. Wow, that's amazing. Right? Okay, if it did not strike you with this amount of awe, don't worry. We study this more, and then you will come to learn the spiritual realization of this author, Acharya Dharmakirti. The one who was so awestruck to read this, Acharya Dharmakirti. And who wrote this? Acharya Dignaga. Acharya Dignaga in 6th century AD. Two of them separated by 100 years, 1 century, 100 years. Okay, so Acharya Dignaga, he wrote this, and these two lines, I so well remember, His Holiness the Dalai Lama oftentimes begins his teachings with these two lines, and then explain, give all the discourse on the basis of these two lines. And I remember 2013, when His Holiness was in Delhi, early morning, the Secretary of His Holiness called me up and said that, okay, His Holiness wants you to be in the hotel right now. It was, I think, about like 8 o'clock in the morning or 7:30, and I rushed to the site, to the hotel, and then His Holiness gave me a detailed instruction how to run Tibet House, and alongside some personal, advice on Dharma practice and so forth. And he cited these two lines. And he said that if we can design our practice, lifelong practice, on these two lines, that would be very helpful. This is what His Holiness told me personally. Okay, so so if you look at this, we see that there are the 5 points there. The first one is the one who has transformed into the reliable guide, meaning that somebody has already experienced the total fearlessness and infinite happiness. With this experience, that he became the reliable guide to lead all other beings to take them to the state of fearlessness and the infinite happiness. That's the meaning of the reliable guide. And how did he become this reliable guide? If you look at the biography, then we see that motivated by altruism to benefit the sentient beings. What was Prince Siddhartha doing before he left the palace? Was that he was a prince. He was enjoying the princely life in the palace. But according to the very simple biography, it wrote that he met with 4 sights. The sights of sick person, old age, death, and ascetic. 4 sights, and then he renounced the world. It was not that simple, because and then also in of course this is good for the beginners or small children. Otherwise, his charioteer seems to be, from this biography, gives us the impression that his charioteer is smarter than him. Right? And he asked the charioteer, okay, what is this old man? devotee says, this old man, is everybody going to go through the same thing? Yes, everybody. Right? And the Buddha, at that point, the Prince Siddhartha was much more intelligent than the charioteer. And charioteer and the Prince Siddhartha, two of them were like age group. So, but the reality is that when he was in the palace, what made him renounce the world was when he was in the palace, it's not only because of these sights. When he was in the palace, he could see all the injustices in the palace. See, there are so many princes and the princesses also, and how they abuse the common people, the servants, the maids, and so forth. How they abuse. This is what is happening everywhere in the world. Say, even for me, having traveled the world, say one point with His Holiness the Dalai Lama to the different places, then meeting the high-level people, the prince and the kings and so forth. And from there, I could just conjecture what is happening in the palace. It's not really the mistake of these royal members. This is how it developed in humanity, unfortunately. But it was worse in those days, like 1,000 years ago. It was much worse. So this was what Prince Siddhartha was witnessing. So much injustices in a palace. And likewise, so many wars happening among the kingdoms, and how many people die, how many innocent people die, and the children, they become the orphans and the widows. All these, witnessing all these things, this young prince, it said what? The one who is transformed into a reliable guide, then motivated by altruism to benefit all the beings. So seeing that this is the reality of the world, if I just become the next prince, if I become the next king, if I continue to lead my life as what I should be, then I'll become the next king. But what can I do to solve the problems of the sentient beings? No, I'll just become a king, that's it, and then one day I'll die. So instead, I have to do something, because in the history of humanity, that all these kings, no one king was able to succeed in alleviating the miseries of all the beings, alleviating all the beings from the miseries. Nobody could do that. So I must do something different. I should not lead, the ordinary princely life. I must look for a solution. And for that matter, I have to revolutionize what I should be doing. So he left the palace, all motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings. How to benefit the beings? To look for the solution. So he left the palace. And to look for the solution, first he met with his first teacher Alara Kalam. And they say in a meditative, what we call the Shama Meditation, and then the Shama Meditation accompanied by what is known as special insight meditation. These two are combined together. There are various levels of the realizations over the 4 jhanas, 4 meditative concentrations. They're the 4 formless meditative concentrations. And this teacher, Alara Kalam, here is all the 4. He completed the first 4 jhanas, and the next form, he reached the third one, the realm of the vacuity, the meditative concentration of the realm of the vacuity. So the first 4 known as the first concentration level, the first 4 form realms, then the next 4 formless realms. So in other words, in samsara. So this is what we need to learn. The whole samsara is divided into 3 groups: desire realm, kamalok, then the form realm, rupalok, and the formless realm, arupalok. Let me see this again. The whole samsara is divided into 3 groups. The first one is desire realm. In Tibetan, dukkam, desire realm. In Sanskrit, the kamalok, The next one is the form realm, physical form realm. In Tibetan, Sukham. In Sanskrit, Rupalok. And the third one is formless realm. In Tibetan, Sumekam. In Sanskrit, Arupalok. Okay, Kamalok, Rupalok, Arupalok. Dukham, Sukham, Sumekam. Form realm, desire realm, form realm, formless realm. Okay, if we get time, then we'll go into more detail into these three later on. So the first teacher, the form and formless, they are marked by a very profound meditative experience. If you don't have the deep meditative experience, you cannot take birth there in a formless. But for somebody who is learning about the Bodhicitta, who is learning about wisdom of emptiness and so forth, better not to take birth in formless. Because there it is like saying, what do you think is the tendency for the people who are going through tough times, and people who go through a very luxurious life, right? Of the two, and who do you think will come to Dharma more?
Motivation is because they suffer, so he is looking for a solution.
Exactly. So, who do you think will come turn towards the Dharma more? Exceptions are there. Those who suffered, or those who lead an extremely luxurious life. Suffer. Good. Okay. So therefore, in form and formless, the problem is that there is no manifest suffering. In the form and formless realm, there is no manifest suffering. Even within the desire realm, there's one realm, the Deva realm, the realm of the God. Within desire realm, they manifest suffering so less that once you take birth there, then even if you see to something, you may just bid bye-bye and leave. Right? So, whereas if in the desire realm, where marked by the extensive suffering, then to something becomes so vibrant, so meaningful. Otherwise, when you're in this, the God and Goddess realm, the forms both are God and Goddesses. In the desire realm also there is a section on the God and Goddess as a God and Goddess realm. So there, the joy is too much that your mind does not really turn towards Dharma. Okay, so form and formless, but in a form and formless, the meditative experience is extremely profound. And the first form, then followed by the formless, infinite space, formless. The formless realms, infinite space, infinite consciousness, vacuity, and peak of existence, peak of samsara. Let me say this again. Infinite space, infinite consciousness, vacuity, and the peak of existence, peak of samsara. And if you want to know more, we can touch on this area after a while, not now. Okay, of these the four formless realms, the meditative concentration of four formless realms. The first teacher completed the third one, which is the vacuity. He achieved the meditative concentration of the vacuity realm of the formless realm. He achieved that. And Prince Siddhartha followed him, and within a short span of time, the Prince Siddhartha attained the same realization as the teacher. And Prince Siddhartha asked for more teachings. And the teacher said that you've already attained whatever I have. You've already attained everything. There's nothing more to attain. Stay with me. All my students are your students. And the Prince Siddhartha said that, but I came here to look for the solution for the problems for all the sentient beings, and still I could not find the solution. So he left and found the second teacher. The second teacher was Udreka, Acharya Udreka. And Acharya Udreka, he's the one whose meditative concentration has reached the last point, peak of existence. He attained the meditative concentration of peak of existence. Okay, and then the Prince Siddhartha again followed the instructions of the teacher Acharya Udrika, and very soon he reached the same level as the teacher. Made more requests. Again, the teacher said the same thing, because that teacher Udrika, we cannot really blame him for the reason that within samsara he has already reached the highest level, and beyond that is nirvana. So to reach beyond that, what should you do? Anyone guess? Oh, okay. So to reach that level, you have to realize the concept of emptiness or the concept of selflessness. If you don't realize this, you cannot get out of this. That's the point. Within samsara, you have reached the highest level. So the teacher said, you have already reached the highest level. There's no higher than this. And Prince Siddhartha said that, but I've come here to look for the solution for all the beings. And what I've thus found is not the solution for all the beings, solution to all the problems of all the beings. So he left, and then in 6 years of the severe practice, he found the wisdom of selflessness. He found the wisdom of selflessness, wisdom of emptiness, and through this he became enlightened. So what we said is that here, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings. So he left the palace with the motivation to benefit all the beings. So what did he do? He went in search of a teacher. So what is next? The teacher. The teacher doesn't mean to look for the teacher. Teacher means that he's searching for the wisdom which he has to teach the beings to liberate the beings from suffering. Let me repeat it. Say, this altruism drove him in search of the wisdom which he is to teach the beings, so that the beings will be liberated from samsara. You getting it? So in a way, he went in search, motivated by compassion. He went in search of the wisdom which he has to teach the beings. So this teacher is not referring to the outside teacher, but referring to the subject matter, referring to the wisdom which Prince Siddhartha has to teach the beings. First, he has to find this and teach this to the beings to liberate the beings from samsara. Okay, so finally he found this wisdom, the wisdom of selflessness, wisdom of emptiness. Having found this wisdom, okay, say what do you think? The COVID vaccine, when the COVID was at its peak, we did not have a vaccine. And then for the various pharmaceutical companies, they said there will be a vaccine. So, how should we proceed? Then we start marketing it, or what we have to do? Anyone? Any idea? The doctors? Huh? Let's say a pharmaceutical company comes to you, we have found a vaccine. So what do you do?
We have to develop it, produce it, and distribute it.
Okay, no trials? Okay, trial. Huh? It is a part of the development. Okay, the trial. After getting the vaccine, to develop it further as a part of the development, you should put it to trial. You getting it? Trial. What do you mean by trial? Anybody? The doctor's expert in this. Anybody else? What do you mean by putting the vaccine on trial? Raise hand? Yes. To test it. What do you mean by test it?
Subject it to analysis to check whether it works or doesn't work.
Yes, to subject it to analysis to see if it really works. If it really works. You're getting it? So, Prince Siddhartha, he found this wisdom, the wisdom of selflessness. And he has to first test it on himself to see if it works. So he tested it for 6 years. He tested it, and then what happens? Okay, let's not forget, yesterday we learned 5 points. 5 points on the basis of what Arya Nagarjuna taught. Ceasing karmas and afflictions is nirvana. Karmas and afflictions arise from conceptualization of inappropriate attention, which in turn arises from the elaboration of self-grasping ignorance. This elaboration ceases through the wisdom of emptiness. Okay, what are the 5 points? On your fingertips. Raise hands. Samsara. Contaminated karmas. Afflictions. Inappropriate attention. Self-grasping ignorance. Okay, let's not forget this. The 5. When you meditate on the wisdom of selflessness, wisdom of emptiness, what happens? What is shaken? Of the 5, the self-grasping ignorance is shaken. When that is shaken, okay, in his meditation, so with the wisdom of emptiness, with the wisdom of selflessness, self-grasp of the 5, the ground which is the self-grasping ignorance, it is shaken. Iceberg is melt. When iceberg melts on the iceberg, then it stacks the buildings, right? So when the iceberg melts, what happens to the buildings that you construct on the iceberg? Everything collapses. Everything collapses. So then, with the wisdom of emptiness, self-grasping ignorance, the 5th one is dismantled. It's simply crushed. Because of which all what is stacked on this, what is stacked on this? What is stacked on this self-grasping ignorance? Inappropriate attention, afflictions, contaminated karmas, and the miseries. They all dismantled. Because the iceberg, the ground is dismantled, everything stacked on that dismantled. So all the miseries dissolve. So this principle experience that all miseries dissolve. When the agitation subsides, what comes to you? What do you experience? Transcending sorrow is peace. You experience absolute peace. So that peace, that experience, what it said after teacher? Sugata. Sugata meaning the one who has gone to the bliss of the absolute peace. Sugata means the one who has gone to the bliss. In Tibetan, Devarshekpa. The one who has gone to the bliss of absolute peace, where your miseries all transcended. Okay, so he experiences Sugatahood through experimentation of this wisdom. He experiences Sugatahood. So with this experience, what did he do? He went out with so much confidence within him. He went out to protect the beings by teaching this wisdom, by sharing this wisdom. You getting it? So that makes him the protector. To you I make prostrations. Okay. If you are in Delhi, you reach Delhi, and you are supposed to be coming to the Bodhicitta retreat in Thosamling, and you met 2 people. One is Venerable Samula, the founding director of the institute, and another person who you don't know. And the other person said that, I know Thosamling so well, right? I'll teach you how to get there, but you have no clue whether the person knows Thosamling in the first place. Whereas Venerable Samula, you know that she is the founding director. She was responsible for putting all these bricks, bringing all the bricks to the institution, where all the people have benefited all these many years. If you meet 2 of them, who would you, and you are very apprehensive, how do I get there? Little fear, scared. So if you meet these 2 people, who will you rely on? On Samula, because you are very confident that she has all the complete experience of getting there. You're getting it? Okay, so it says that the one who has transformed into the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings, motivated by altruism to start this Thosamling. Then the teacher, what should I actually teach? And then experimented on himself. Then experienced the bliss of the absolute peace And then with this, he went to protect the beings by sharing this wisdom to all the beings. Okay, to you I make prostration. So this is how you see a reliable guide. Okay, from this, if I would ask you of these, the 5 different points, what are the things that you can do now? In one. What are the things that you can do now? All the 5 points indicated there in this. Presents? Yes, Rachel?
Develop motivation to be altruistic.
Perfect. To develop the motivation that I should also develop this compassion for all beings. What else?
Renunciation.
So what is said here? From these.
Yes.
From the 5 points I indicated. Anyone? Yes.
Find a reliable teacher and then pass that his teaching.
Say it again.
Find a reliable teacher and pass his teaching.
Here, the 5 points, it does not say reliable teacher. It means I should become the reliable guide. On the basis for this, how did he do? He left the palace motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings. Then he was looking for the wisdom which he has to teach the beings, to liberate the beings. 2. Number 3, experimenting it on himself to see if this wisdom works. And then finally, experiencing this togetherhood, then he went to protect the beings by giving the teachings. So, of the 5 points, what are the things that you can do now? Yes?
We can experiment on ourselves.
Experiment with which one?
The teachings we receive, we can experiment and see if it works.
Oh, experiment what?
The
wisdom. Do you have the wisdom now? Huh? Are you sure? Okay, if you don't have the wisdom, then that's not. If you don't have the ingredients, you cannot experiment the food, right? So what should we do?
Collect wisdom. Collect wisdom.
Collect the wisdom. You're getting it? Collect the wisdom. So these are 2 things that we can do now, and the experimentation comes later. The two things, cultivating compassion and cultivating wisdom, these 2 things can happen now. Yes?
Just for clarification, so the Buddha acquired this wisdom 6 years before enlightenment and then tested it, or he acquired it at the moment of enlightenment?
Which one? The wisdom itself?
Yes.
Okay, this is a good question. In fact, the wisdom was found before the enlightenment. Of course, before the enlightenment. Say, later on you will learn Gate, Paragate, Parasamgate, Bodhisoha. So this Gate, the wisdom, this wisdom you must get it latest by somewhere in between the first Gate. Then the second Gate is there, then Paragat is there, Parasangat is there. These are all before you get to number 5. Number 5 is the Buddhahood. Okay, good. So with this is how we structure the purpose of a life. How to create a purpose of a life. Okay, this is how I should design my life, that I extract a greater meaning out of my life. Okay, good. And yesterday we were talking about all composite things are impermanent. All contaminated things are suffering nature. So, and then we just briefly touched on everything's nature, emptiness, self-existence. We did not really go into detail. Then transcendent sorrow is absolute peace. Okay. All composite things are impermanent. So there we talk about composite phenomena. And for information, I would warn you that you are bound to meet with people who will say that in Buddhism everything is impermanent. Is it true or not? Huh? In Buddhism everything is impermanent. True or not? Not true. Okay, tell me how it is not true. Anyone?
Impermanence is permanent.
Impermanence is not permanent.
Impermanence will always be. No?
It's not permanent.
Buddha nature.
Huh?
Buddha nature is permanent.
Buddha nature is permanent. Okay. Yes?
Love is permanent.
Love is permanent. Okay. So now, what I would say is that given that we have 21 sessions, and with the momentum there, we can learn a lot. So we have to learn all these technicalities, right? So in future, let's not be too naive, right? Impermanence is permanent, right? Let us go with the technicalities. You have to know the technicalities. You getting it? Okay, let's not be naive now. Okay, for that matter, we are learning the technicalities. For this is so important. And on that basis, finally, what do you think from the last, yesterday, from the yesterday's 3 sessions? What impression did you get that the next 7 days, we're going to learn what? What did you guess? Can you guess? Yes? Abhishek?
Methods and process to understand the wisdom of emptiness.
Exactly. So to learn what is the how to get there to the wisdom of emptiness, the process, the wisdom of emptiness. What is wisdom of emptiness? You getting it? This is what we're going to learn. Okay. So anybody who gets some idea as to what is meant by emptiness? Anyone? Raise hands. Except for those who are doing Nalin Master's course, Nalin course, NCC. Anybody else? Yes?
Sense of intrinsic nature.
Wow, that's amazing. You must be something equivalent to NMC or NDC. You learned it already somewhere. Good. In fact, the idea is emptiness of intrinsic nature. What do you mean by emptiness of intrinsic nature? Quick. In your own words, yes.
Objective nature.
What do you mean by absence of intrinsic nature? Absence of objective nature. Very good. Okay. What's the opposite of objective nature? Subjective nature. You getting it? Okay. Now, many of us, some of us may think that, okay, seems like there are so many people who are already exposed to Buddhist philosophy for a long time. I'm just a beginner. So what I want from you is 2 things. What am I looking for? What are the 2 things? Passion to learn. And then what next? Consistency. As long as you have these 2 things, I don't care whether you have NDC, NMC, NCC, or equivalent of NMC, NDC, NCC. You're getting it? So as long as you do these 2 things, I'm happy. Okay. And this, because of this, that we are doing stepwise. Now the technicalities. Why we are trying to go into this technicality is that, so finally, say, when do you say the fear, how many you had a nightmare in your dream? At least once in a lifetime. Nightmare in a dream, sense? Nightmare. Very scary dreams, sense? Okay. Never had such a dream, sense? Never had a scary dream. Which means we all had. Okay. And how many of you are happy with the scary dreams, sense? Not happy. Okay. So when you're not happy with the scary dreams, what should you do? Wake up. You got to. In what way? These are very serious questions. It may seem so simple, but these are very serious questions. In what way waking up helps you to get out of this scary dream? Anyone?
Because I realize it's not real.
Here? Another?
Wake up.
In what way the waking up helps you to get away from the scary dreams? How does it help you? Anyone?
I become happy. I become happy that it was a dream.
Okay. You are happy that the fear dissolves. The moment you discover that it's a dream, how did it help you? How you waking up, how did it help you to get into the fear? Coming to know that this is a dream.
Realizing it was a dream.
Realizing it is a dream, yes? Okay. So do you all, yes, Lakshmi?
No, but what we see was different from what I heard.
Exactly. So Lakshmi put it so nicely. What we saw earlier was very different from what it existed. What we discover now, waking up, what we discover now is very different from how I think that was in the dream. In the dream, I thought that it was real, very scary. It was a real scary ghost. And waking up, I realized that it was not a scary ghost. It was a dream scary ghost. A dream scary ghost I don't have to be scared of. Right? Okay, in other words, you come to know that it's my own thinking. It's my own mental creation. When you discover that it's your own mental creation, your fear dissolves. When you see that it is not my creation, it's from the object. Objective, what Tam said, in the dream you see it as so objective real, then the fear arises. Seeing the dream ghost as real, is this ignorance or wisdom? Hey, seeing the dream ghost as real, is that ignorance or wisdom? Ignorance. What is the outcome? The fear. You getting it? And seeing the dream ghost as dream ghost, seeing the dream ghost as empty of being real, ignorance or wisdom? Wisdom. When does it happen? In the dream or come out of the dream? All of you. Come out of the dream. That is wisdom. And this wisdom is dawned when you come out. What's the outcome? The fear dissolves. You getting it? So, what is that wisdom? The wisdom is that wisdom to see that the contents of dreams, they're all coming from my mind, from the subject, not from the object. What is that ignorance? In the dream, seeing the dream as all coming from the object. Seeing the dream as objective real, the fear increases. You're waking up, you see the dream contents as subjectively real, empty of objective reality. The fear dissolves. You getting it? Okay. From this, what are we trying to learn is that just as the dream ghosts, when I discover that it is subjectively real, my fear dissolves. What? If I discover everything as subjectively real, then all the fears related to samsara dissolve. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? Oh wow, that's amazing. From this example of the dream, suddenly I can relate this to my real life, samsara. That if I see the whole samsara, everything as subjective real, it's like waking up, and then you're all samsaric, the nightmare stops. Can you imagine that? Can you conjecture that? Or can you at least guess, oh, this can happen, that's true. If I come to see that everything is like a dream, I will not be affected. Okay, so yesterday we did this experiment. Just look at the person next to you, very quick. Okay, you know what I'm going to ask you, not to smile, but you smiled. Are you good? Well, the mother and son is more serious. Are you good? Okay, now look. Just think of the same person. What we did yesterday, do it again. Think of the same person who made you smile. Just think of that. Close your eyes and think of the same person who made you smile. Are you good? Nobody smiled now. Okay, now my question to you. Why did you smile when you were looking at the person? Why you are not smiling when you are thinking of the same person who made you smile? Raise hands. Let me repeat it. Why, when you were looking at the other person, it made you smile? Why, when you were thinking of the person, with eyes closed, just think of the person who made you smile, your smile does not come out? Why? Yes.
We smile by respect for them.
Okay, respect. No. It's an automatic response. You're getting it? Okay, anyone else? Yes, Manjari.
With my eyes closed, I know that the image of beauty is a mental construct.
Yes, okay. How many agree with Manjari ji? That when I close my eyes, I know that this image is coming purely from my own mental construct. Right? It's just my mental construct. Why should I smile at it? Right? If you smile, it is time for you to go to mental hospital. Right? So therefore you don't smile. Yes, over there, what's your name? The Japanese lady here. Your name? Yes. Huh? Yuri, yes. What's the answer?
If as of her case, I think her is objectively real, but I think it's just subjective.
Okay, so Yuri articulated what Manjari just said in a different wording. So what Manjari just said, what Yuri said, these two are just same. What Yuri is saying is that when I look at the person, with my eyes, I see the other person is objectively real. Then, it's an automatic response in the form of, say, smile. Whereas when I think of this person, I know that what comes to my mind is purely subjectively real, is not objectively real. So the moment you discover that is subjectively real, empty of objective reality, the emotional loss of control due to the emotion starts. Okay, so from this, do you agree with me that we are trying to learn in this course of the 7 days, try to learn how everything is coming from your subjective mind. If you know that, if you learn that everything is coming from a subjective mind, all agitations, mental agitations stirred by viewing things as objective real will stop. You understand what I'm saying? Good. So and then how easy it is. Just look around you. The paintings there, on the altar, the people around you, the beautiful lights. You look at all these things and see how do they appear to you. Objective real or subjective real? How do they appear to you? Tell me. Objective real. Okay. And when do things appear to you as objective real? In the dream or in the waking state? How many hours do you have in a day? 24 hours. In 24 hours, how many hours things appear as objective real and how many hours things appear as subjective real? 24 hours. 24/7 things appear as objective real to us. And this is what torments our life. What continuously brings disturbance to our mind. So our job is to see things as subjective real. Learn how to see things as subjective real. And so when do you see things as subjective real? See dream as subjective real? In the dream or outside dream? Outside dream. So what should you do to get out of the dream? Wake up. You getting it? Wake up. So the dream, there are two kinds. One is a conventional dream and the other one is an unconventional dream. Conventional dream, we wake up from the conventional dream every day. But from the unconventional dream, we have never woken up from this unconventional dream. 24/7 we have been having the unconventional dream. 24/7. So from this dream we never woke up. We have never woken up from this dream. So our effort must be, till we wake up from this unconventional dream, we continue to suffer in samsara. We continue to suffer in samsara. Only when you wake up from the unconventional dream, our samsaric miseries will stop. That's the end. This is the meaning of transcending sorrow is absolute peace. So our job is to wake up from the sleep of ignorance so that we can discover that everything is empty of objective reality. You getting it? Good. And Prince Siddhartha, he discovered this and he became enlightened under the Bodhi tree. And after becoming enlightened, meant to share this wisdom with all the other beings, the Prince Siddhartha, the Buddha, then revered as the Buddha Shakyamuni, remained silent for 49 days, not giving any teachings, not sharing any wisdom. Why? Why do you think the Buddha remained silent, not sharing the wisdom? Anyone? Yes?
But testing, if it works.
Sorry?
Testing the...
It worked perfectly well. He already experimented it and he experienced the Sugatahood already. Tested, done.
Yeah. He afraid that no one will understand it.
Okay, So yes, he realized that this concept is so profound. To see things, everything as like projection of your mind. That is something so profound that hardly anybody around him can realize it. So no point in sharing. Who remained silent for 49 days. Then the kings of the celestial beings, Indra and Brahma, through the clairvoyance, they came to discover, they came to know that on the planet Earth, Prince Siddhartha became the full awakened one. And yet, while meant to share this wisdom with all other beings, to free the beings from suffering, and he remained silent for 49 days. He should not have been silent. So they descended with prostrations to the Buddha and requested, please turn the wheel of Dharma. Turn the wheel of Dharma means give teachings. This is the request made. Then the Buddha uttered this verse. Profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear light, and non-composite. Such a nectar like Dharma is what I've discovered. Finding no one who can fathom this teaching, in silence I will return to the words. This is what the Buddha said. Saying that this teaching that I've discovered, the fact that I've discovered that everything's like a dream, that nothing exists objectively, is so profound that hardly anybody can understand this. So, I'd rather return to the words in silence. Then the Indra and Brahma. Indra offered the conch to the Buddha. Brahma offered the wheel of Dharma to the Buddha, indicating, requesting them to blow the conch, blow the sound of the conch. The blow, this the Dharma, the sound of the Dharma, the way the conch is blown, to be heard by all the sentient beings, and turn the wheel of Dharma to all the beings, so the beings, the miseries, the self-grasping ignorance can be gotten rid of, inappropriate tension will be washed away, the afflictions can be mitigated, and then the contaminant karmas will be stopped, and the miseries disappeared. So please turn the wheel of Dharma. Then the Buddha headed towards Sarnath, Varanasi, and Buddha gave them the first sermon. Okay. So in all, it is said that the Buddha gave three, and the three are referred to as all the teachings of the Buddha subsumed under what is known as the three turnings of the wheel of Dharma. Okay. To know the three turnings of the wheel of Dharma, what we know is that we need to know for each of the turnings of the wheel of Dharma, the first one, second one, third one, we need to know the place, the target audience, and the subject matter. To know the three turnings of the wheel of Dharma, we need to know three things for each of the turnings of the wheel of Dharma: the place, the target audience, and the subject matter of. We need to know the place where the teaching was given. We need to know the target audience. To whom this teaching was given. Then number 3, the subject matter. What is the subject matter of these teachings? Okay, the first turning wheel of Dharma. The place-wise is the Varanasi or Sarnath. Sarnath is a smaller place within Varanasi. Sarnath or Varanasi. And to know the target audience, we need to know the 4 Buddhist philosophical schools. 4 Buddhist schools of the philosophy, or 4 schools of the Buddhist philosophy. The 4. We need to know these 4. So please make sure that you have on your fingertips, particularly those who are hearing this for the first time, because there are many of them who already know all these things. They learned this many years ago. And if you don't learn this on your fingertips, then the others, we are actually not doing it justice to the people who already learned this before, and that we are going at a very slow pace. If you learn this on the fingertips very fast, then the others who already learned this, they can also enjoy this in the class more effectively. Okay, the 4 schools. The first one is Vaibhashika. Vaibhashika, Vaibhashika, Vaibhashika school. Number 2, Sautrantika school, Sautrantika, 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 Sautrantika school. Number 3, Chittamatra school, Chittamatra, Chittamatra. Finally, Madhyamaka, Madhyamaka. Okay, and for this class, I like to even divide the Madhyamaka into 2. Madhyamaka 32. Don't think that, oh, there are so many divisions. Is that the wrong time that I came here? All right. Okay. We have to learn these things. Learn this make sure that you have these on your fingertips, and then as you go deeper into philosophy, you will really enjoy. You will see that, wow, this is a very, very fortunate that I'm here in this group, that I'm able to touch these very sophisticated philosophy. Okay. The Madhyamaka we divide into 2. One is Sava Tantrika Madhyamaka. Sava, SVA, SVATANTRIKA, Savatantrika Madhyamaka. And the other one is Prasangika Madhyamaka. Prasangika, PRASANGIKA, Prasangika Madhyamaka. PRASANGIKA, Prasangika Madhyamaka. Okay, what are the 4 schools? Quick. Vaibhashika, Sautrantika, Chittamatra, Madhyamaka. Madhyamaka there are 2. What are they? Savatantrika Madhyamaka and Prasangika Madhyamaka. And Prasangika is the high school. Prasangika is the high school. Okay. So now, quickly to go through these, the 3 things, the 3 points for each of the 3 turnings of the wheel of Dharma. The first one is the place-wise is Sarnath and Varanasi, and the target audience is Vaibhashika and Sautrantika school, Vaibhashika and Sautrantika, and the subject matter is Four Noble Truths. Not only Four Noble Truths, but Four Noble Truths to be truly real. Four Noble Truths to be truly real. Okay, that's the first 10 Noble of Dharma. Four Noble Truths. Four Noble Truths to be truly real. Or truly real Four Noble Truths. That's better. Truly real Four Noble Truths. Second 10 Noble of Dharma. Second 10 Noble of Dharma, place-wise, Rajgir, RAJGHIR or GIR, Rajgir, and the target audience, Madhyamaka, not the Chittamatra, Madhyamaka, the fourth one. For the second turn of Dharma, the target audience is the fourth one, Madhyamaka, both the Madhyamakas. Then the subject matter is what is known as the emptiness of intrinsicality, emptiness of self-characteristics, also referred to as the emptiness of objective reality, or Perfection of Wisdom Sutra. Perfection of Wisdom Sutra. Yeah.
So emptiness of self-characteristics or emptiness of?
Objective existence. Emptiness of objective existence / emptiness of self-characteristics / Perfection of Wisdom Sutra. Okay, finally, the third Noble of Dharma, in terms of place, is Vaishali. VAISHALI, Vaishali. And in terms of the target audience, Chittamatra. And the subject matter. Okay, the subject matter. This is interesting. Third Tenet of Dharma in Vaishali, what happened was that it's not that simple. Vaishali, the Buddha presided over the congregation, and the people there, among the participants, there were number of the very advanced level bodhisattvas, 10 Bhumi bodhisattvas on the verge to become Buddhas. And 10 of these bodhisattvas, they stood up one by one to ask 10 different questions to the Buddha. And the Buddha responded to the 10 different questions. Particularly, there was one bodhisattva by the name Bodhisattva Brahmat Samudgata. Bodhisattva Brahmat Samudgata. In Tibetan, Tundamyandapa. In Tibetan, Tundamyandapa. In Sanskrit, Brahmat Samudgata. So this bodhisattva, his questions were very different. And some other bodhisattvas, they asked a question which Anila said. Some other bodhisattvas, they asked different questions. One question was asked on the Buddha nature. But this bodhisattva Brahmat Samudgata, he asked questions related to the first tenet of Dharma and the second tenet of Dharma. So, because of this, that the response the Buddha gave to the question asked by Bodhisattva Brahmat Samudgata, that becomes related as the third tenet of Dharma in the context of the first turning and the second turning, in relation to the first turning and the second turning. So what was the question asked? The question asked is that in the first tenet of Dharma, the Buddha taught that the Four Noble Truths exist truly. In second tenet of Dharma, the Buddha said nothing exists truly. Let me repeat it. So Bodhisattva Brahmat Samudgata, he stood up to make prostrations to Buddha, then asked the question to the Buddha that in the first tenet of Dharma, the Buddha, the Venerable, the Tathagata, the Buddha taught that the Four Noble Truths exist truly. In second tenet of Dharma, the Tathagata taught that nothing exists truly. And if you were to keep these two teachings as at face value, then these two are contradictory. So it's given that the Tathagata is full of enlightened one, there must be a reason why you taught this two superficially contradictory teachings. There must be a reason. And then what could be the reason? Then the Buddha interpreted his own teachings. This interpretation. So okay, I'm going to give you the technicality and then we'll stop here for the group discussion. Interpretation. The Buddha classified everything that comes to mind into three groups. Imputed nature, three natures. Everything that comes to mind into three natures. One is imputed nature. Number two is other powered nature, imputed nature. Number two is other powered nature. Number three is thoroughly established nature. The thoroughly established nature. The first one is imputed nature, other powered nature, and thoroughly established nature. The three natures. And of the three natures, interestingly, how the Buddha interpreted his own teachings was that, that's true. That's true. Venerable Brahmat Samudgata, Bodhisattva Brahmat Samudgata, to the first teaching, when I said the Four Noble Truths exist truly, I meant the other powered nature and the thoroughly established nature to be existing truly. Let me repeat it. During the first tenet of Dharma, so Buddha was interpreting his own teachings. Because otherwise, if you keep the first two teachings on their face value, the two teachings are superficially contradictory. So the Buddha said that first tenet of Dharma, when I said that the Four Noble Truths exist truly, I meant of the three natures, other powered nature and thoroughly established nature to be truly existent. These two natures as truly existent. Whereas in the second turning wheel of Dharma, when I said nothing exists truly, I meant the impure nature. Impure nature does not exist truly. So this is how the Buddha interpreted his own earlier two teachings, and that interpretation came to be known as the third turning of the wheel of the Dharma. That interpretation came to be known as the third turning wheel of Dharma. And I'm sure that how many of you wanted to know what do you mean by impure nature? What do you mean by other nature? What do you mean by thoroughly established nature? How the impure nature does not exist truly? How the other power and the thoroughly established nature exists truly? He didn't explain anything. I want to know that. Makes sense? Okay. So this is what somebody has to remind me, not now. Makes sense? Okay, one over there. Your name? Michael. Anyone else? Yes, here. Rinzela. Okay, two. Okay, this. If you feel important, we need the third person. Ishila. Okay, we have three of you. Raise hands. All three of you. Michael, Ishila, Hayat, and Rinzela. Okay, so people can identify you three. Two of you. Okay, we'll stop here. Samgate bodhiswatyam om gate gate paragate parasamgate bodhiswatyam om gate gate paragate parasamgate bodhiswatyam